I'm Kevin Elson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. The president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, Cardinal DiNardo, said that his heart and prayers, along with those of his brother bishops and all the members of the church, go out to the victims of the mass shooting in Las Vegas on October 1st. A lone gunman identified by officials as 64-year-old Stephen Craig Paddock was perched in a room on the 32nd floor of a hotel on the Las Vegas Strip and showered bullets on an outdoor country music festival taking place below with a crowd of more than 22,000 people. At least 59 people died, more than 500 were wounded before police officers stormed the room and found the suspect dead. Bishop Joseph Pepe of Las Vegas, who led an interfaith prayer service at the Cathedral of the Guardian Angels on October 2nd, said that they are praying for those who have been injured, those who have lost their lives, and for the medical personnel and first responders who, with bravery and self-sacrifice, have helped so many. In a telegram to Bishop Pepe, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Vatican Secretary of State, said Pope Francis was deeply saddened to learn of the shooting in Las Vegas and sends the assurance of his spiritual closeness to all those affected by this senseless tragedy. The Las Vegas shooting is the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. In news now from Rome, on the Pope's recent trip to Colombia, he met privately with a group of Jesuits and laypeople associated with Jesuit-run institutions in Colombia. A transcript of the meeting was just published in the Rome-based Jesuit-run journal. During his remarks in the meeting, the Pope talked about what it takes to be a good theologian. He said in addition to studying, dedicating oneself, having sharp insight and grasping reality, one must reflect and pray on one's knees. A man or a woman, he said, who doesn't pray cannot be a theologian. The Pope also discussed the recent criticism of his apostolic exhortation, Amoris Laetitia, with the group. Rome Reports has more on that aspect of the story.
The comments and criticism against the apostolic exhortation Amoris Laetitia are respectable but wrong. Pope Francis spoke clearly before a group of Jesuits in a private meeting, and the Jesuit journal La Civiltà Cattolica has published his comments. The meeting was during his trip to Colombia. The Pope told the Jesuits in Cartagena that in order to understand the apostolic exhortation, two things must be done: to read Amoris Laetitia from start to end and read what was said in the Synod. He also replied to those who say that the moral background underlying Amoris Laetitia is not safe or even Catholic. The Pope explained that the morality that sustains his document is Thomist. In November last year, the four cardinals who decided to make their doubts about Amoris Laetitia public aroused much controversy. The Vatican had said the answer was found in the apostolic exhortation. Recently still, around 80 theologians and experts in traditionalist fields who do not accept the Second Vatican Council have signed a document accusing Pope Francis of 7 heresies. However, the same sectors also attributed 101 heresies to John Paul II and criticized Benedict XVI for his ecumenical gestures.
Looking now at news from the Vatican has announced that the theme of the Church's celebration of World Communications Day 2018 will be "The Truth Will Set You Free, Fake News and Journalism for Peace." The day's theme is announced every year on September 29th, the feast of the Archangels Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. The Vatican will release the Pope's message for the observance January 24th, the feast of St. Francis de Sales, patron of journalists. The Pope's message for the day will try to help promote professional journalism, which always seeks the truth, and therefore a journalism of peace that promotes understanding between people. Most dioceses will celebrate World Communications Day 2018 on May 13th, the Sunday before Pentecost. More news from Rome. The Center for the Protection of Minors at the Gregorian Pontifical University in Rome is hosting a conference on how to protect teenagers on the internet and on social media. Rome Reports has more information on this very important gathering.
For a few hours, online powerhouses Google, Facebook, and Microsoft will not be in Silicon Valley, but in a pontifical university, the Gregorian. Representatives of all three companies will be involved in a conference on how to prevent cyberbullying and sextortion of 800 million teenagers using new technologies. It's organized by the Center for the Protection of Minors at this university. They have summoned experts, psychologists, and business leaders to take measures to prevent and solve harassment.
tutto questo tema del digitale.
Unfortunately, young people's presence in the digital environment poses a great challenge because they explore it very soon and often alone. The network is not guided by interests such as the protection of children.
Quello che verrà fuori certamente sarà
This Congress is an appeal to the world to investigate the roots of the phenomenon of abuse with greater force and precision. This includes the behavior of abusers and how to help victims. The conference will be held from October 3rd through the 6th, and its conclusions will be handed over to the Pope. Among the organizers is Hans Zellner. He's a member of the commission set up by Pope Francis to seek detective measures and prevent child abuse in the Church. That's why this Congress is part of the Vatican's campaign to protect children both inside and outside the Church.
And finally in the news, Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise received a thunderous applause and standing ovations from the House floor after returning from a 3.5-month absence to recover from gunshot wounds he received while practicing for an annual Congressional Baseball Game. The congressman said the past few months have been challenging for him and his family, but he said the outpouring of love, warmth, and prayer gave them the strength to get through all of this. Scalise and fellow Republican House members, along with staffers and others, were practicing for the annual charity baseball game when a gunman opened fire, wounding Scalise and 4 others. The gunman died at a local hospital from gunshot wounds. Going through multiple surgeries, Scalise recounted how he prayed for specific things, and many of those prayers were answered, which gave him, he said, renewed faith and understanding that the power of prayer is something that you just cannot underestimate. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.